Hi, in this particular session, we are going to make ourselves acquainted with HTML. So let's just go ahead and try and understand what is HTML and what is the importance of HTML. So basically, if I have to tell you about HTML in just one line, HTML is the basic building block of a web page. So if you see a website over here or a web page over here, the web page, just give me a moment. The web page has got heading, it has got subheading, it has got button. Again, you can say that there is a particular section for which there is a small heading, and there is a paragraph, and there is an image. Each of these elements that you see over here is an HTML element. So basically what happens in case of HTML is that there are lots of elements which we will talk about. All of them come together to make a web page. Now the first task we do when we are building a page is that we decide what are the elements that is going to be there. So as we saw just now that there's going to be heading, subheading, so all of them will be placed using HTML elements. Yes, when you have placed them, you can apply any sort of functionality over them using JavaScript. You can, add more and more styling using CSS, but the basic structure of a web page is decided using HTML, like what all elements are going to be there. So each and everything that you see on a web page is an HTML element. Okay, so now the question is, what does HTML stand for? So HTML stand for Hypertext Markup Language. So here you should see the word markup, and this is really a very interesting concept about markup language. Okay, so I'll first tell you about hypertext and then I'll tell you about markup. So basically why we call it hypertext is because what happens is that in case of HTML you will have various pages, and each pages are linked to each other using hyperlinks. So basically you will have a particular link, and for that matter you will have a text which will be linked to some other HTML page, and you can click on that particular text, or you can click on that particular link to go to any other page. We will see that as we go ahead. Okay, and now talking about markup language. So this is, as I said, is a very interesting concept. Let's go to the history and try and understand about markup. So earlier what used to happen is that, let's say you wrote a book, or anyone wrote a book, and they gave the book for proofreading. Proofreading means that you see the book, and if there is an error or if there's any modification required, you just tell me. So now what happened is that, let's say there is a lot of modification that could be required, like let's say maybe a particular word was supposed to be in bold or italic, or there's some spelling mistake, or maybe a particular word should not be there, or there's something which is not clear. So obviously let's say you are writing, and you're reading or proofreading, and writing each and every time that this was supposed to be bold, or spelling mistake is there. Apart from writing these things, or rather than writing these things, what happened was that there was some symbols they were invented. If you can see some symbols over here. So let's see, if I see this particular symbol, this means that you should move this particular text to some other place. Okay, or for that matter, let's say if you see this particular symbol that is out there, it means insert a period. Okay, which means that if you see there is a line, but there is no period at the end of the line. So what will happen is that rather than writing this, that insert a period, whosoever is proofreading, they will just put this particular symbol over here. And as you can see that whenever the person will correct, they will know that okay, I have to put a symbol over here, and they will insert a period. Okay, so this is what is the use case of a markup language. So this is how what it happens in case of HTML. So if you read a newspaper, so if you see in a newspaper, you have some text which are heading, then you have a paragraph, then you have an image. Just imagine, I'll show you guys one of the HTML pages as well in that particular manner, that the complete page is in the same format. There is no bold fonts, or there is no thing like heading. Just everything is in the same font, same style. Or basically what is happening is that you just cannot bifurcate between the elements. Obviously things will not be readable. So in case of HTML, what we do is that if I want something to be heading, or for that matter if something is really important, based on that we give them tags, HTML tags. Okay, and based on what is the HTML tag we have given, the browser will understand. Just like here we have a symbol, whosoever is correcting will understand that okay, we have to insert a period here. Similarly, based on how you use HTML tags, we will see about HTML tags, the browser will understand that okay, this has to be rendered in this particular fashion. Okay, so this is the meaning of hypertext markup language, where markup is having this whole concept. Okay, now there are other markup languages as well. One of them is XML, which is used a lot in Android. So what we use for web pages is HTML. Okay, so now we will talk about HTML tags as we go ahead. First of all, let's see a very small example on how we can run an HTML code, or for that matter how we can just quickly create a very small web page and run it on the browser, and we will see the difference when that exists by using the HTML. Okay, so now let's say I write a code over here. I have to, let's say I want a heading hello world. Okay, and then I want some sort of text. Okay, let's say it's going to be how are you doing. I'm just taking some random text, also ignoring spelling mistakes. Okay, so now if I have to run this particular line, so first of all what you need to do is that, okay, let me do one thing. I'll just delete this particular file and I'll create a new file from the beginning. So basically what I have done is that this is my Microsoft Visual Studio Code. I hope you guys have downloaded by now. So in order to create an HTML page, you need not have this Microsoft Visual Studio Code necessarily. Even when if you have, let's say, a notepad or a Sublime Text or a text editor, what you can do is that you can write some lines and just save that page with .html extension. So in this case, let's say I create a new page. I'll name it index, and what is really important is this .html. Okay, so only after you have done .html, that's when you will run it in the browser will understand that, okay, this is an HTML page and needs to be rendered accordingly. Now let's say we go back and write what we wrote beforehand. We wrote hello, how are you? Okay, I am great. The weather is great here. Okay, so let me put a nice title. Hello, how are you does not look like a nice title. So let's say I want the title letter. Okay, just a letter. So let's say I want this is a title. This should be a title. Whosoever reads this particular web page understands this is a title and this is a paragraph. In this also, let's say this is one paragraph and this is another paragraph. I want the person whosoever is reading my web page to understand this. So what I'll do is that I'll copy path, okay, and I'll run it here. Whatever path you have copied, you just need to paste it and hit enter. So basically wheresoever the file is in your computer, you just need to put that particular location in the browser. Okay, so now what happens here, if you can see that here if someone comes to read the page, they won't understand that which is the heading, which is the paragraph, and there is no bifurcation. Even if I have given spaces here, doesn't matter, all of them are coming in the same style, same emphasis, same line. So in HTML what we do is that we give them tags. So here the letter will have h1. We will talk about this tag and we will understand how tags work. I'm just showing you a small HTML code. Here we will write p. Okay, so this is paragraph, this is another paragraph. Okay, now save this. Make sure to save your files before running, else your changes will not be reflected. And now let's say if I go ahead, okay, this is very interesting thing that happened. That what happened was that all of them are again coming in the same style. Though this tag is different, this tag is different. So one thing we did was that we did not close this tag. We will see about opening and closing tags, don't worry about it. For now, just see the difference. So if you see now, whosoever will come and read this page will understand that, okay, this is the title, this is one paragraph and this is other paragraph. So this is how HTML works to shape up your web page. Okay, so as we go ahead, we will understand about HTML tags and different HTML tags that we have. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into coding. That's it for today's session. Thanks a lot. Bye bye.